This is a story about a chemistry that Herb bought for himself. His brother Billy. Let's all watch Billy and Herb and the chemistry set, and perhaps we'll learn some things about fair play. As you see this story, we want you to think about questions. Questions such as, what is fair play? Perhaps when the story is over, you'll want to talk about the... Now let's see what Herb's doing. He starts with two clear legs. It would be fun to do experiments like that, but Herb isn't going to let Billy try. Billy wants his dad to make Herb let him do it. He says Herb's not fair. And Dad thinks perhaps he'd better explain to Billy. Herb shares most of his things with Billy, but maybe it is fair for Herb to keep his own chemistry set and not let Billy play with it. After all, Billy is rather young, and he doesn't know how to use the chemistry things safely. He might break something or hurt himself. And Herb earned the set for himself, so he has a right to it. Do you think that's fair? What about it? To play fair, should Herb share the chemistry set? Well, Herb didn't share the set. He used it alone all evening. On Saturday morning, the boys usually help by doing the dishes, but what's this tug of war? It seems they want to dry them because neither wants to wash. Well, whose turn is it to wash the dishes? Herb's turn. Billy's turn. Taking turns is always fair, but here's another question to think about. How can Herb and Billy decide whose turn it is? Mother thinks it's fair to make a rule and follow it. She'll mark the turns on the calendar. Herb is older, so he will wash today while Billy dries, and next time it will be Billy's turn to wash the dishes. So Herb and Billy can play fair by taking turns and by obeying the rules. That's one way to play fair. Oh, Herb's cut his hand. Must have been on a sharp knife in the sink. Mother will have to clean the cut. And Billy has an idea. How about a bandage to keep the dirt out of the cut? Another way to play fair is to be helpful. Well, Billy has the bandages from the bathroom now, and... Herb's chemistry set. Herb said not to touch it, but... Oh, he's downstairs. He'll never find out. What do you think? Should Billy use Herb's chemistry set? Remember your answer to that question. Well, let's see how Billy makes out. My, those things look strange to Billy. Well, try this one. There. There. Now. Oh! No, Billy isn't hurt. Just stained with harmless chemical ink. But Herb's chemistry set. Ooh, Herb's waiting for the bandages. Here they are, to fix Herb's hand. But what about Billy's stained hand? Well, a little bandage like this will keep dirt out of Herb's cut. Herb's all right now. But Billy offers to wash and dry the dishes. To do both. Herb thinks he could help. But don't you suppose Billy sort of wants to do something for Herb to make up for the chemistry accident? Herb says, all right, it's a good chance to work with the chemistry set. Uh-oh. Herb will find out about the broken test tube. But Mother thinks he'll cut heels a bit, and she goes back to finish her work. Now Herb remembers that it's time for Billy's favorite program, and he offers to get the station for Billy. After all, Herb wants to play fair.
I know, David.
With lots of fresh milk and fruit, so you'll grow big and strong. And now, back to the adventures of Mary and Eddie. When we last saw our young friends, the captain had just landed their rocket plane on the surface of the moon. But Billy isn't really listening to the radio, is he? He has too much to think about. Herb has been playing fair with Billy, and Billy ought to play fair too. He ought to tell Herb about the chemistry set. And that won't be easy. Besides, maybe Billy ought to buy a new test tube for Herb. But Billy has only a little money saved. He'd been planning to buy some marbles, and if he buys the test tube for Herb, he won't have enough left to buy his marbles. What should Billy do? To play fair, should Billy buy the marbles or the test tube? Well, Billy decides he will play fair. And after he tells Herb, Billy will go up and clean up the mess he's left in Herb's room. So Billy buys a new test tube, and there's Herb's chemistry set, just as good as new. Herb is pleased that Billy played fair. Of course, Billy will have to wait for his new marbles, but he feels better this way. And do you know what Herb decides? He's going to let Billy use the chemistry set some of the time, and he'll teach Billy how to do it safely. That is, if Father and Mother agree. Why, of course, they're glad that Herb and Billy have learned to play fair. Herb and Billy are glad too. And what have we learned about fair play? To play fair, when should we share things? How do we decide whose turn it is? Should we respect the property of other people? What should we do to make up for our mistakes? What is fair play?